Hello, dear students. Today we will speak about the second part of Fire Forces model created by Michael Porter. This video is to continue the previous one, part 1. Uh, In the beginning of this video, I will shortly remind you the general structure of this model. The main idea of Michael Porter was that if we want to analyze the competition in the industry, we have not only to analyze all enterprises producing the same products or services with our enterprise. It is the central part of this picture, of this model. Yes, we do have to analyze them, but not also. Also, we have to analyze potential entrants, the top part of this picture. It means enterprises which want to enter our industry. Also, we have to analyze companies producing products which are substitutes for our products, for the products of our industry. And also we have to analyze power of our suppliers and power of our buyers. And all these four forces additionally have a very big impact to competition in our industry. And during previous video, we analyzed competition within industry, the central part, and we analyzed potential entrants. Maybe you remember we spoke about barriers of entry. And today we will speak about substitutes, we will speak about suppliers, and we will speak about buyers. Let's begin with competitive pressure from substitute products. Generally, what is substitute? Substitute is a product which could satisfy the same need or very close need. Let's speak like this. At this very screen, you can see several examples. For example, eyeglasses are substitutes to contact lenses. Glass bottle is a substitute to a can. Newspaper is substitute to, if speaking about news, is a substitute to TV, and internet is a substitute for newspapers, for both newspapers and TV. And also, I'd like you to think about very interesting thing. Please look at the bottom part of this picture. If speaking about the left picture, then you are hungry and you have a lack of time. You can visit, I don't know, McDonald's or Burger King, or you can visit a coffee or buy some cake, for example. These needs are very close, yes? And look at the left picture of the bottom part of this screen. For example, if you want to have fun, you can play some video game or you can play some game. If you want to, how to say, to train yourself, you could go to gym, or you could visit, I don't know, a dance club. If you want something tasty, here are two pictures. You could buy banana, or you could buy some cake. But a variety of these substitutes in these examples are too big. And that is why we have to analyze substitutes with the help of the following picture. We have to analyze substitutes at different levels of competition. First, the biggest level is budget competition. For example, here if you have money and generally maybe you are not thirsty, but you want to uh, I don't know, something sweet or something tasty, or just you want to enjoy small piece of life. Let's speak like this. And you have money, so you can buy something. You decided to buy some beverages, and in this very case it is a generic competition. In this very case we can choose between juices, coffee, some other drinks, beer for example. Then you decided to buy some soda water, so you in this very case you have to choose what type of water. And the final level of competition, it is product competition, or competition between some trademarks, between Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi. For example, if you decided to buy some diet beverage. So looking a little bit forward, you have to prepare the same model for your company, and in this very case you have to think about at least two levels of substitutes, or two levels of competition for your product. Not one, let it be at least two. Let it be at least two. When thinking about competitive pressure from substitute products, you have to think about three things which must be taken into account when analyzing influence from substitutes. First is price of substitutes, second is quality of substitutes, or generally it is the same. We have to think not about the quality, but we have to think about the level of satisfying of the need with the product, with substitute product. And the third factor is how easy for a customer to switch from one product to substitutes. Let's speak a little bit in details about these three factors. First, price. You know that customers in our industry uh, always think whether to buy our product or whether to switch to another product, and they are comparing prices within our industry and other industries. Uh, and Other products of other industries, they provide like ceiling prices. Generally, it was rather funny story with me. Then I visited Paris, and I was thirsty, and I came to a shop. I wanted to buy beer, and the situation was about, let me see, about 10, more than 10 years ago, about 13 years ago. Yes, and I was in Germany, and I decided to visit Paris. And having come to shop, I was very surprised that I was amazed that a bottle of beer was about €4 and something, four and something. And in that times in Germany, the bottle of beer was about 70 cents or something like this. But a bottle of wine, a price for a wine, it was not big, but small bottle, not even half a liter, but I think something maybe one third liter, something like that. The price for the wine bottle was about €1 and something, and it was light wine. So I decided, why shouldn't I choose these red wines? So first of all, customers are thinking about the price. Second, satisfaction. When speaking about substitute products, you have to estimate the price for these substitutes in your model. The second factor, satisfaction. Usually, the level of satisfaction when purchasing substitute products is a little bit lower, and you have to understand this. You have to calculate this delta. How much do you have this gap between satisfaction from product of the industry, from purchasing the product of the industry, and from purchasing substitute products? And the third factor, how difficult or how costly it is for a client to switch from one product to a substitute product. In my example, it was totally not costly. I just put a finger and please give me this bottle, and that's all. But in some cases, it could be some additional costs for switching. Even in my example, if I decided to buy not a small bottle of wine, if I decided to buy a big normal bottle of wine, usually I have to use some device to open it, yeah. And in this very case, I had to buy this small device. Usually, small bottles of wine, it is possible to open it just with rating the bottle, and that's all. But if I had to buy something, in this very case, I would have paid some additional costs for switching. And you also have to analyze how it is possible, how difficult it is to switch from the product of your industry to the product of some other industries. In some cases, there is no additional costs. It's like I would buy not this but this, that's all. And in some cases, you have to invest some money in some equipment. And you have finally you have to evaluate these pressure from substitute products and how to understand the lower is the price of substitute products, the higher their quality, and the lower user switching costs, the more intensive is this power. And vice versa, if the price for substitutes are very high, higher than our industry, the level of satisfaction is not. I'd like to stress one more time. Generally, we have to analyze not a quality, but a satisfaction from these very product. For example, even in my example, if I'm thirsty and if I buy a bottle of very good sweet wine, the wine could be very delicious, the quality could be very high, but to satisfy my need, if I'm thirsty, the level of satisfaction in this very case will be not very high. And also you have to, if the price for switching from our products to our substitutes is very high, in this very case the influence is very low. It is 1 in first example, it is 5, and in second example it is 1. And you have to evaluate, you have to think, and you have to choose one figure from 1 to 5. The same the next part of this model is power of suppliers. I'd like to stress, I will stress it 2 times in the beginning and at the end of this part. Students usually make some mistake. They just decided to list supplies and that's all. No, we have to understand whether it is possible for our suppliers to push on our enterprise or not. And from this part of this lecture, we will try to think about it. When this power of suppliers is weak, first, then you are buying some standard products. For example, in this very example, it is sugar. You have a confectionery business, for example, chocolates, okay, and you need sugar. And for you, the only reasonable characteristic is a price. And you don't care whether to buy it. If somebody say, we will sell you a product, but with some additional obligations from you, you will say, okay, goodbye, I will buy this product from another supplier, that's all. But for this situation, it should be no deficit of the product at the market. The next situation, if it is not costly to switch from one product to another product. Here is the easiest example to understand. Here is the man going through some shelves in a supermarket. He don't have to pay anything to switch from one product to another product. I think he is standing near the shelves with tea or green tea, for example, or black tea. Same water, same pot, same cup. So the only difference is what tea he has to buy. For example, if speaking about coffee and normal coffee, not instant coffee, but coffee which you have to prepare in special way. In this very case, you have to buy a coffee machine for you. In this very case, you have to pay something for switching. Also, power of suppliers is weak when we are a major customer. So, for them, I mean, in this very situation, you will be very valuable person, like very important person, good person for your suppliers, and they keep. They will keep you, and they won't push on you. And in the second part, we will speak about the situation when influence of suppliers is rather big. First, when some type of raw material is very important for our production cycle, or it has a very significant effect on the final quality of our industry. Next, second, when it is very difficult for us to switch from one supplier to another supplier. When I was CEO of a company, we wanted to switch from one supplier to another supplier, but in this case we had to buy some additional equipment. So we switched, but it wasn't very easy for us. In some cases, suppliers supply us with a product which can be produced by our enterprise, but it is very expensive to produce it. And in some cases, there are some situations that in which suppliers they didn't want to push on you, but anyway they are they have some influence on the level of competition of your industry. There are some situations. The first, when they can't provide us with raw materials with a good quality. In this very case, the competitiveness of our enterprise will be lower. And the second part of this picture, of the screen, the bottom part, it is the situation when our suppliers has very close relationship with other enterprises in our industry. And in this very case, if they have some problems, in this very case, they will supply that enterprises, not our enterprise. So they also can change the level of competitiveness of our company. And I'm stressing one more time, it is a big mistake to just to provide a list of suppliers in this model. No, you shouldn't do it. Usually, any company has at least two groups of suppliers. The first group of suppliers supply you with a standard raw materials or details, and it's not a problem for your company to switch from that suppliers to another suppliers. And the second group of suppliers supply you with very important uh, due to some reasons raw materials, and in this very case it is possible for them to push on your enterprise. And you have to first of all you have to create these two groups of suppliers, and then you have to evaluate the pressure from this competitive force. If one, all your raw materials are standard and it's not a problem to buy these raw materials at the open market, and five, it is there is only one supplier, some details for the industry, and this company has possibility to change the level of your competitiveness. And the fifth part of the model is the power of buyers. It's quite easy to understand that not every buyer can push on your company. For example, I like chocolates with spices. Maybe it is strange for you, but in other countries it is rather typical product. But in our country, it is rather difficult to buy something like hot chocolates, hot chocolates, spicy chocolates. And for example, I come to a shop of Hakov biscuit factory and say, okay, next week you should provide me with this type of candy, or maybe at least next month. They will look at me as I think at a mad person, and they say, okay, okay, okay. And if I am rather nervous, they will invite police. But another situation, if a big net of supermarkets ask this factory and they say, okay, we will take your products to be sold at our net of supermarkets, but you have to change something. I think in this very situation, you, as now we are speaking about chocolate business, you have to follow these requirements. And generally, so from this situation, it is quite easy to understand that generally there are some buyers of any company, and some part of these buyers can push at our company, and some parts not. Usually, big power of buyers have retailers because companies compete to be presented compete to be presented in the best space on shelves. It is like eye distance, yes, and to meet the companies could be ready to meet some additional requirements of retailers. Also, it could be some prestige buyers, so we are interested more than even this very buyer that he or she, or it is a company, buy our products. The example of of this phenomenon could be when, for example, a very good sportsman buys some kind of some trademark of sports equipment, and he or she even has a contract with a company, and the company even paying money, not the sportsman not have to buy money to pay money, sorry, for this equipment, but company will pay money to this very sportsman. And some other situation. This power is bigger than it is not very difficult to switch from one product to another product. It is this power when this power this power is bigger than the number of buyers is very small. For example, if there are only some buyers at some market, okay, let's speak about some particular example. In Kharkov, you know that we have a big turbina factory, yeah, and the number of suppliers all over the world, I think not more than 100 all over the world, and we have to meet, if we are this turbina factory, we have to meet all requirements to sell our products. Next, if this power is very big also when buyers are well informed about our costs. That's why they could think, okay, your profit is too high, so you have to decrease the price for us. That's why usually costs of a product, of a production cycle, is a top secret within a company. Some companies, buyers are backward integrated, and in this very case they have possibility not to buy. If we are producer of cans, for example, a beer company can push on us. They could say, okay, we can produce this product by ourselves, but maybe it is easier for us not to transport it from one region to another region. We will buy it, but you will have to set some very good conditions for our company. And the same thing as to suppliers, power of buyers is not equal. Even if speaking about retailers, if we are speaking about a big net, here is Walmart, for example, this net has much bigger influence than a small shop of some food, for example. And also, I'd like to stress that when evaluating this force, you don't have only to list the clients, the possible clients of your company. But you have to you have to create two groups. The first group from the buyers, which this group, the buyers of this group can't push on your company, and the second uh, group of buyers, these buyers can push on your company. So one is then there is no buyer which can push on your company, and five is if there is only one buyer and we have to meet all its requirements to sell our products. And having evaluated all these five forces, you have to think about collective impact of all forces. First of all, you have to begin from the central part. It will be the basic evaluation, and then you have to uh, change your estimation with the help of other four estimations. And finally, you will have some level of competition. What is the most tough competition? The most tough competition if there are a lot of companies in our industry. There are good substitutes, and it's possible to switch to these substitutes. There are a lot of firms which want to enter our industry. We have some specific raw materials, and the suppliers of these raw materials can push on us, and we have a very short number of customers, and that's why they also can push on us. It is the most tough competitive situation. It is like five. And the best environment, I would say, a green environment for a company, is that there are not a lot of companies, just a few companies within the industry. Market is growing, so level of competition is very low. There is no good substitutes, and due to some reasons, for example, know-how, it is rather difficult to enter industry. You are purchasing only standard products, and there are a lot of small buyers at the market, and it's not possible from them to push on our company. And in this situation, the level of competition is like one, ideal. And the true situation is somewhere in the middle. And you have first of all to evaluate is this situation with the help of this strategy, this model, and the next task, you will speak a little bit forward, is to create a strategy which can, how to say, which help stay alive your company in this competitive environment. Thank you for watching. See you. Bye bye.